Hello to all our viewers out there. My name is Sensei Amakirambawa, Chief Instructor Zen Budo Karate. And welcome to our all-new podcast where we talk about everything martial arts, fitness, and we look at the different ways entrepreneurs can actually key into this new business ecosystem that we are setting up. So if you're into karate, hit the subscribe button and press that bell so you get all our programs as our new editions come out to you. Hit it right now. Welcome everybody to our very first podcast series, the Zen Budo podcast series. It's for those of you who have been following our blog posts, it's similar to what we have on our blog posts. It covers everything martial arts, fitness, meditation, and everything that entrepreneurs need to key into this new global economy that we're creating. So, running right into it, I'm going to introduce our first guest. He's a 6-degree black belt, an accomplished karate athlete, a world-renowned referee, both on the Nigerian scene, continental scene, on the global scene. He's the Vice President of Nigerian Karate Association Administration, a member of the KFN Technical Committee, and the Chief Instructor of the Jitsu Karate Club. So join me to welcome Shihan Segun Abode.
Very interesting to have this show.
Welcome to the show. Welcome to the show. Segun, it's very interesting. You and I have been together in the karate scene for many years. In fact, the first time we were together in the karate scene, though we didn't know each other then, was in 1996 at a tournament in the Civic Center. I was a brown belt at the time. You were already a black belt then. And unfortunately, that tournament didn't hold. But I mean, we took some pictures. I think I'll even put one of those pictures on the screen.
That's a good
so it's for the sake of memories. I showed it to Segun when we were in Shihan Segun when we were in Cairo, and he had a good laugh. Anyway, between 1996, after then, I know you were into competitive karate until you retired. Can you just give us a brief review on your time as a karate athlete?
It was a very eventful one, and it led to who I am today. It shaped my life, and it was intriguing. It's with pains, it's with some joy, because first we have the opportunity of competing, and when you compete, you can be able to see how you fare with respect to contemporaries, and then you can feel a lot of things. Competing actually is something that helps you to see who you are. For example, you go to a competition and you are fighting with somebody and you make a score. And when you make the score, and the referee does not give you the score. Now, some people go haywire. They say, oh, they've cheated me, they've robbed me, they didn't give me the score and all that. And at the end of the day, maybe they back out from the competition. But I didn't back out. I realized that if they don't give me, there is something I need to do to improvise the system of how I fight so that the referees cannot take anything off me. So that makes me a better person. Meaning that we don't just give up to situations in nature when they are really affecting you.
When we face tough times. When did you leave active karate?
Okay, I left active karate 2003, and the memory never left my mind, because then the whole system, I'm not owing anybody anything to say about it. People have tried, those who have done what they did, but the system wasn't good enough, and many things. What led to my own leaving was I went to a national camp, 2003, right? Year 2000, I have been a gold medalist in National Sports Festival, and that's the second edition of karate featuring in National Sports Festival. So the first one was in Imo 98. I participated, I had the bronze. I came from the company to come and participate. So I never had time to be like other athletes, but I used my IQ and knowledge I have to make up. So year 2000, I came back better, and then I became a gold medalist in minus 75 kg. That does not mean that I've also not competed in other events like the NDL, the popular NDL.
Yeah, my brother used to compete in the NDL.
Which happened to be about the biggest competition Nigeria ever had then. Why? Because you have a very large number of people competing in that event. But down the line, the 1996 edition happened to be disrupted by some certain issues of athletes feeling some things or different things like that, complaints. Then in 2003, I said the system was crappy. If you are going to be called to the national camp, You know, the aspiration of an athlete is that when you compete within Nigeria, you also need to go international, because it looks like you are going to a greener pasture, you are going for more things. So they send letters to all the states where you represent. I represent FCT. I was the first karate athlete for Federal Capital Territory in any of the national championships, and I registered them then because Federal Capital Territory does not even have karate in their sports council. So they sent the letters for invitation to the states. I went. The letter did not get there. Yeah. So, but it was in the newspapers that I saw, Punch, Guardian, and all that. My name was there. The selection that brought me to be put there was previous events that happened that year. Because I competed in that year, I got a gold. I came to Open Black Belt and got a gold, and some other championships like that too. So I have had some edge. So then I deserved the call-up. But no message was sent to me personally. It's only the newspapers, and we now start to ask people. They put a date for the camp resumption. So we joined the bus, night bus. We don't have money, so we joined by attachment, a luxurious bus of that time. And then we moved to Lagos, myself and one junior athlete, Fezino, who happened to be one of the best Nigeria ever produced in karate till date. So we traveled together. He was much younger than myself. When we got to the place, the people leading the camp said, "Oh, trials have been done." And I said, trials have been done. They said that this is the information that reached me. I didn't get it on time. Then one of the instructors, who is a senior instructor today, now told me, that's Shihan Abode, he said, "Don't go away. If you, this night, find a place to sleep, and then the following day, come. You see them, they will do the trials while you are here. They've not done any trials. I've been here. I stay in the stadium here mostly." So I waited. The following day, trials was done in my presence. I was not allowed to take part. So I now look at it and said, what's the meaning of all this? How long shall we do this kind of thing? Okay, this marks the end at this point. Let me go and find my life, find myself, and I'll still be enjoying
in the private sector.
So I have to leave that side. Better have a plan and have a goal. That if I work for so many years, I like to become an entrepreneur. So I can have more free time for myself, because I have passion for karate. I'll come back again and build karate. That's happening.
It's interesting you say that, because you and I, we've worked closely together since 2016. When we met again, it was like a reunion when we met at the Black Belt College in 2016. Yeah. And between that time and now, I know we've done different things. Yeah. We've done the Strata Base under 15, which now evolved into the Strata Base South Regional Cadet event. Yeah. We're now preparing for the Strata Base senior event. Yeah. I remember the one by Marco, First Rivers Kickboxing Karate Open.
Rivers Open.
I remember I worked with you closely in the LOC during that event.
Yes.
And the first one and the second one worked with you together closely.
Very correct.
Now, give me your take now on what these tournaments we've pushed. How have they improved the game of karate? Because both of you and I, we came in from the private sector to run this thing. Yeah. How has it impacted on karate? And then, of course, we can't talk about First Rivers Open without talking about Chief Marco's passing.
Yeah. Let me start with that Rivers Open where you talked about. Rivers Open was one of the events that brought the passion of karate back to some athletes, and it's bringing about the hope. Normally, events of that magnitude, that Marco event is an event that is classified as event factor 6. Which is going to be about the highest in the nation, in the country. And when we're doing that event, what happened is that hope started coming. Even many senior karatekas in the country, before this regime that came in to Nigerian karate, it has been a little bit dry of competition. So when Marco came in and said, "Oh, this is what I want to do," he has the passion. The event really, it's an avenue to take the athletes to greater heights. Because without the event, you can't know who is the best you have in the country. So if you do this event, it brings a lot. It brings about movement of people, and then it is in the events that you have the development. When you compete with other people, you keep on seeing your mistakes, you learn, you improve. So if you keep on going like this, the standard of game will develop. States or other bodies will also give awards to the athletes. So we are like making the future happen for karate, and it's also selling karate and making karate popular. Though there were a little mistake we discovered that was made then. If we have been telling the ministry each time, we invite them, we used to tell them, Federation will do that, Karate Federation of Nigeria, KFN will do that. But if they don't bring representatives from the ministry, they don't know so much what you have done. Imagine the magnitude of the event of Rivers Open. That event almost rocked with the capacity of the number of participants in any of the continental events done in Africa. Before, we used to have participants in UFAK. Participants, you have entries like up to 260 something, 290 something. But I think we have 268 in one of the events, meaning that with the population of Nigeria for 200 million persons, which is really huge, we are having 268. So we are actually we have started a process of trying to see how to harness what we have and take the youths away from the society. Because if you don't take them away, you have youth restiveness, right? So but when you give them passion, people are winning. Children like to win. Youths, they like to win. They like to see how they succeed. They like to see their progression. So this event means a lot. Till date, people are still going to be looking at it. But let me tell you, unfortunately, we lost late Chief Michael due to COVID-19 then. I'm telling you, there has been a lacuna in the system. There's been a very big gap. And many of us who knows what we're doing and what it stands for, we're just wondering how we're going to reenact it again until your union and myself and others start to bring in the strata base, which we're now trying to see another way, another dimension. We are now more experienced, so we can manage the events even better than we did before.
Because you know the strata base, the beautiful thing is that there's the under 15, which is like the cadet.
Yeah.
And now there's the senior tournament.
Yeah, very correct. Under 15
too.
is actually the future of karate. If you look at the people that did karate before who were in national championships, many of them were like the age 30 and all that. But you know, if you start early, you have a very long career in the game. So you'd have passed through a lot, then you'll be like the Europeans. Look at people like popular guy Agaev, Rafael. They started very early. Surprisingly, look at somebody like Dakota Steven. He's been able to win maybe up to 4 world championships now, if I'm not mistaken, maybe 4 or 5, at the age of 24. It's very rare to find that. Agaev started around the age of 14. So getting the youth championship that is where Nigeria should have approximately 60% of their championships. But I don't think we're exactly doing that yet. So it's a lot of credit to Strata Base for initiating that program to allow us to do for the cadets and the junior.
Okay, nice. Let's move into something a little bit touchy. You and I were supposed to be in Cairo together. Unfortunately, because of the visa issues, you didn't make the Cairo trip. But the good thing was you didn't relent. I mean, even from the distance there, I know you continued calling, you continued making your contribution, you were communicating with the athletes just to see how everything was going. And we had our best result ever. 1 gold medal, 2 bronze medals, which was, and we came 7th on the table. That's Nigeria's best result ever. Let's look at that now. What's your take on that? Let's review some of the games from that tournament and see the key points our instructors can learn from. Let's look at some of those bouts. All right, now, so some of the key areas now that coaches, instructors don't look at when they are coaching are reflected in this fight here now.
That's the fight between Omo and Tarek of Egypt.
Yeah. So now, if you look at it now, I felt it was transition. That's where he scored the first point. I felt it was transition, but you said it was something to do with his lead leg.
Yeah, it was not even transition. What happened was that they were bouncing. And you know, it's when you're fighting with a novice, for example, on the street, or so, you discover that if you stand without moving, you can still reach them. They don't know much about distancing. Though they don't want to get too close that your punch can reach them, but they don't know what distancing and reach can be. So at the Nigerian level, people can at least manage distancing and reach approximately, but they are not people who can maximize it. So in this point now, if you are fighting at that level, you need to be able to be like a moving target, such that the opponent cannot read exactly where you are going to be, or read your foot, or read your rhythm. You know, so you don't need to be too plain. So the first call there against the Nigerian athlete Omo, coming with a Kizami, a stamping Kizami, Zuki, he was just bouncing back and forth. So, you know, the moment your leg touches the ground and you want to retreat back, as you are touching, a good athlete that is well trained to optimize that will make a strike upon that, and then the score will come on you. There is almost nothing you can do because you need to be contacting the floor. Some very good fighters, they make sure that their feet is always on the surface of the floor. Some bounce too high off the floor. So the moment you go to the air, you can't change direction. You know, it's like a boat on the water. It cannot move except by the wave. It cannot move by its own accord. So the moment you are off, you can't change direction. But if your feet travels on the surface of the ground and you are not on the same spot, it's hard for the opponent to read. When you also step in, you need to be mindful of distance. You know, good fighters, like a radar, radio detection and ranging, whereby the system is able to check this distance is far from me. Great athletes, they knew exactly where you can be that somebody can strike. And if you are bouncing, don't stay too delayed in that point. So you must be completely mobile. In that one, in this first strike, as Omo tried to place his feet, his front feet on the floor, he had done it and bounced back and forth. The guy saw him.
Let's look at that again.
Yeah, look at it again. Okay, watch it now. Watch him bouncing.
Okay.
Yeah, so when he wants to return, as he touches, he wants to return. The guy picks it. So he's going to be flat-footed. He's going to be like somebody on the stationary position. So that guy is training and working with that.
What's his name again? Tariq?
Tarek Mahmoud from Egypt.
What's he ranked in Africa?
I think his rank in the world is number 5.
Yes. So that was a tough fight for Omo.
Yes, because for Omo. So the guy is quite
because
experienced.
Repeatedly he scored him like that. If you watch it again,
scored that up till the bad side or the irony of that fight is that the guy took that score for up to 7 times.
Yeah, watch it. If you see the second one,
the second one again, the same thing.
He also scored like that.
So long as the opponent did not realize, long as the Nigerian athlete did not realize what he was doing to remain mobile, not to be on the spot, somebody else will move angulated. As we go on in this video, you will see some fight like Rita Ogene, when she was fighting, you see some things. Now the same thing will happen. I think that's the score, right?
No.
Okay, that's not the score.
That's the second one. That's the second one. That's the second one.
Same thing again, because he, you know, being flat-footed is something that you have to study diligently. So the coaches need to be able to understand that an athlete don't have to be at the spot. If you are going to do that stamping in the front of somebody, you must be at a distance where the person can't reach you. There's what they call mai in karate, like distancing. So meaning that you need to be able to know how to evaluate it.
But whoever controls the distance controls the fight.
And one of the best, I can say the best skill somebody can have in fighting in combat is distancing. Because if you are distanced in appropriate proportion, the person cannot strike you.
So let me ask now, how can Nigerian coaches teach their athletes this? Because apparently if you don't know this, you can't go beyond the continental level. Yeah,
one of the basic problems now is that the rule of the game in competition is hitting and not getting hit. So meaning that you want to score and not getting scored. So you need to try to work on the fluidity and study this. You know, the reason why it's affecting Nigeria like this is that in the Nigerian National Championship, Omo is a high-profile athlete. Omo is a top-rank 1 athlete in Nigeria for minus 84 kg in Nigeria. Though he tried to go up now to a heavier weight in this competition. But he's a top athlete. So he beats everybody regularly. They don't know the dynamics of this movement of continue to stay mobile and dynamic while fighting. So if he wins people who are on the spot waiting for counter and all that, like some of the scenes you see that he was doing, waiting as if he wants to counter, he has set himself as a focus for this man to check his reach and to check his distance. You know, there's a difference between distance and reach. Distance is how far you are from a person. Then reach is where your strike can get to.
Your ability to reach the person.
To get to the person and how to do with your arm's length and how your spring effect from where you are taking off. So if you are doing it in the country and it's working for you, when you go to the international, it's not going to work for you.
Yeah, and I think it's actually a West African or a Sub-Saharan African problem, because he fought the same way for his bronze fight, but he defeated the Senegalese.
It was the same mistake. The only problem was that with the Senegalese,
he couldn't take advantage of it.
Yeah, the Senegalese is not as proficient as
exactly. He couldn't take advantage of it.
And again, you know, you have to train for the best. If he goes to fight maybe somebody like Abdelaziz, for example, or some other good athletes like that, he's not going to easily get away with it. Or fight somebody like Sangade of Iran, he's not going to get it. Or fight somebody like Gogita or somewhere like Honey, these guys will do even almost worse than what Tarek is doing now.
Okay, quick one. Our strata-based senior tournament is coming up next month.
Yeah.
How can we ensure our athletes step up their game in that tournament?
It's going to be pretty hard to change immediately. You know, I've said something before in the Nigerian Karate Coaches Association forum, WhatsApp forum. I said there is need for the role of mentorship for Nigerian coaches. It's not to mean that Nigerian coaches are not great, because as far as West Africa is concerned, they are trying. But there's still a need for mentorship. And this mentorship will enable them to be able to listen when the Karate Federation of Nigeria brings in the technical course. Like in Iran, like in Turkey, they do what they call camp. Now, we're supposed to have such an open camp, like a training section where people will compete and not getting medals to exhibit and try what has been taught. So there need to be a lot of technical teaching in the federation. Guys has to be introduced into the program so that we can be able to talk about things like this.
Talking about the federation, there are gaps in the federation. In Cairo, I also observed that the federation only pays attention to techniques. I mean, they didn't care about the nutrition.
Yeah.
There wasn't much emphasis on the nutrition. There wasn't much emphasis on the number of coaches needed. Just one coach, who also doubled as the technical director.
Yeah.
The state of mind, the mental state of the athletes wasn't even bothered. In fact, I actually had to introduce a meditation course there and there on the ground. Yeah, because I realized that their mindset was scattered. So I had to introduce a meditation course.
Yeah.
So we actually went through that phase of meditation the second day before we actually entered our other fights. And I think it had a good impact. But the federation should know that it goes beyond just sending the athletes, because it's almost like the impression the federation is under is like, by sending my athletes out there, I'm doing them a favor.
Yeah.
But they should know that if you want your athletes to win, you have to focus on diet, you have to focus on nutrition, you have to know on them. Meditation and things like that.
I think that life is in stages. Before now, I don't know how they've run the previous Karate Federation, but this time around, some of us have been playing a lot of active role. You see that it is the stakeholders that chooses the people that should rule them. And not until the Karate Federation of Nigeria, for example, the board and all that, is able to know and agree on the impact of these respective areas, we will not be able to change that.
Oh yeah, they have to.
Because I can tell you that this thing you call nutrition, it's not part of this context. They are also struggling to see that they're able to make the future happen. Many years ago, we never had this kind of opportunity. Nigeria don't go to UFAK continental. Mostly they always go to the zone at worst, but in recent time, in the past 5 years, we've been attending events. We were in Turkey, we were in I personally was in
Botswana, Bamako, Rabat.
I was in Kigali, I was in Dubai and other countries like that. Apart from some few referees that are going, but if the referees are going and that's not a technical team for the federation, you're not able to bring anything back. So another thing again, and that's what you see, that not only nutrition, it extends to what we do as a group, meaning that the technical crew of KFN, the coaches and the referee, and the technical director of that or technical committee, these three arms, must be like Trinity. Sorry, I don't know use a language that tries to make things of God, but it must be like three things, like a tripod, like a tetrahedron structure, where the three are working exactly together. Because that's the only way. Because, for example, this thing you see, the athletes from this point of view, as many people, we are thinking that these athletes need to be more reactive. But there's no reactive you can be the moment your feet is landing in the wrong place. You can't be faster than any other person. First thing is not to be in a place of target or range. Only when you want to come for their opponent or to set them up, that's when you come within range. But when you step in like that, they just keep on taking scores. And we keep on wondering, what is happening? So these things are supposed to be synthesized within the technical committee. We needed to have a forum to discuss this, agree on them technically, and then maybe we'll start to do a lecture to the coaches, because the coaches run them. Then again, the coaches too are not doing very good job in Nigeria as it were, because many of them are supposed to come with accompanying referees. Now, they only come with them as if they are just an attachment. Referees are not employed in sports council, it's only the coaches. But the referees are as important as the coaches. They check the standard, they tell the coaches what you have done, this does not meet the right criteria and all that. Then the coaches go back to the drawing board with his methodology or methods and then create a way to make sure they can do what the referee has said. So to me, I always think that even though the coaches are the more important, they need to at least be able to respect the position of the referees, who tells them this is what the rule says. Many of the referees, coaches go and read the rules. The rules, WK have rules, competition rules. These competition rules are written rules. It does not have a way to measure what is called an impact. If I hit somebody very hard, how do I know I have hit the person very hard to warrant a contact offense? Now, the rules does not have a measure to say, oh, you impacted 50 Newton of force. There's no device that's checking that. So if there's a way you hit somebody will say it's not a score. And somebody said it's a contact. Many just get angry back. So if you don't grind with the referees, you will not know about the unwritten rules in karate. There are unwritten rules. There are things that cannot be written in the book. Those aspects are the things that create the difference. For example, you see when the athlete was fighting Tarek, when he made his call on the Kizamizuki, his feet and force went same time, meaning that he generated and landed on the impact, meaning the energy is transferred from the floor where he kicks against to transmit it and without also hurting the opponent. Mm-hmm. So the force must be good enough. In Nigeria, you see somebody just touch it. He can touch very cleanly, but without that vigorous application. Six criteria defines it.
It can be a score.
This is criteria you must know. In one of the fights that we were looking the other time, you see that the opponent was moving when the kick was touching him. It's like a punching bag that is swinging. And if a punching bag is swinging, if you hit it when it's swinging, you can't give it maximum impact. You even be praying that it should be on the spot so that I can hit it very hard. Now, the rule says for the technique to arrive, he said for good timing in karate is defined as the point where the technique has the maximum potential for impact. And that must be when the thing is almost stationary. So you need to be able to catch somebody at a state of cue or when the person just almost momentarily stopped. But when the person is transiting or traveling, the impact cannot be high. So one criteria is gone out of 6. Once one criteria is off and gone, automatically that is not a score.
We'll come to that when we get to the point of refereeing. But before then, there's something that I find very interesting. Every time we're talking about competitions in Nigeria, when we're going outside, our focus is always on committee. Why don't we focus so much energy on kata?
Yeah, we do focus on kata. We had some fair results in kata, like in the All African Games in Rabat. I was there. We have one of the athletes, Shihan Segun Abode. He came 5th position. And in All African Games, Junior African Games in Algiers, he came 3rd position. So we also have katas. Well, I think maybe because Cairo, we only had this number then. Because the number Nigeria took to this event, well, at least doing something is better than not at all. So we have about 4 athletes, thanks to Strata Base and the initiatives from some persons behind to add to it, and we're having about 6 athletes.
6 athletes.
It's unfortunate that you have a coach for this kind of event, and you're having one coach.
In fact, let's just drive straight into that, because I think the impact of coaches is actually undervalued.
Yeah.
There was only one coach that was on that trip, and that coach was the technical director.
Yeah.
So that means it's the technical director who has his business to handle as the technical director, and he still has to be with the team as their coach. Yeah. Now they have 3 mats there. Yeah. So that means if we had 3 players, 3 fighters in 3 bouts, that means 2 will be without the coach.
Yeah, 2 will be without. That's a horrible sign.
It's terrible.
And again, the choice of him staying, by my own assessment, is the most perfect. Like when he left for the event, some people were saying, why not any other coach? Why must it be him? Number 1, he is certified.
He's the only certified coach we have in the country right now.
No, we have about 9 others now.
Officially on the list there, I looked at the list and he was the only one on the official list.
That they've not ratified the ones that went through the online program during COVID.
Okay, no, those ones haven't.
9 of them.
No, they haven't been.
So currently, when you do this thing after a time, you don't have the license to practice. I've seen somebody like Shihan has another certificate back then, but currently this one is the one.
Currently, here is the only one.
If you don't have the certificates, you cannot.
You can't sit down there. You can't sit down there.
And secondly, he's the TD. He bears the brunt. If he sends somebody forward, that person is going to do a lot of administrative work. If you don't know that terrain, you can't get it. And we were going to this program almost at a late time. So definitely, if it happens at that late time, you're going to stand there. You're not going to let somebody go and do it, and then they come back and tell you.
It was tough. It was tough on him. It was tough on him.
Then you bear the brunt. So at this point, you got to do it yourself. Because of the technical person.
For those that don't know, particularly, I think I want this to really get to the KFN. Let's look at the fight, Rita's fight, because the coach was instrumental to Rita winning that gold medal.
Now watch Rita. She's never stable. She goes in, she come out. She goes in, she come out.
So she's controlling her distance.
So she's controlling her distance. So she's when she moves away. When they come, she breaks. Then she goes in. She goes out. So she's never going to be flat-footed. So it's going to be very hard to catch her on that kind of.
Oh, see Shihan Jegede.
Yeah.
Paying close attention, even telling her.
He has to pay attention. He has to be fighting with her along the line to be able to guide her and tell her a few things.
So imagine not having a coach there. So why would we make the mistake of sending just one coach?
Yeah, that's it.
When we have 3 times.
I remember the place you're talking about. That's the point where we're talking about the video review card, right?
Exactly, the video review card.
So nobody to protest your score because the referees, the judges, the corner judges, 4 corner judges sometimes may not see all the scores. And if they don't see the scores, they won't give you. Not that they won't be fair enough. They cannot, from their scene angle.
You can't see everything.
Yes,
you can't see everything.
If the scene angle, they are backing and it's not clear, they will not be able to. Because the rule specifies that you only have to give a score when you actually see that score. So if the score is missed like that, the coach who sits there knows that camera is another additional judges of his own. This first one was a simultaneous score.
In Turkey, they don't allow anybody to go down there.
He lost it. That's a violation of the UFAK referees. Watch it. Because if you bounce and fade and pull your opponent, you are able to predict what they are going to do.
Reaction.
Yeah, because you put them in check. So you are able to predict. You see, that's how she took the score. She faked the athlete to come out and she didn't move and then she took
it. Rita is a very experienced
and
fighter.
watch how she evades. She evades secular, not just staying on the spot linear.
Yes.
She doesn't, otherwise she'll be going on Joga. Now while the girl is raised there, she comes back in again. That was not valid because it's like her arm was bent. That was valid. We have to be fair enough when we're judging. Watch her. They gave the girl a wazari because that kick caught her. At the time when she make a posture for a bend, that score went in. So that was a 1-0. That is the 2. I think it was 2-2 at that point.
No, was it 2-2 or 2-1 or 2 at this point? I remember being very tense at this point. Then this is where I say the coach actually did something interesting.
Watch her, she goes secular. She doesn't stay on the spot.
He's trying to manage.
Big goal.
That's it.
So now the coach.
So now the judges, when they were fighting, that one there is Judge 3. Judge 3 and Judge 1 cannot see
It's their blind side.
the score.
It's their blind side.
So with all fairness. So when she made the score, the coach was in
So it's the coach now that actually.
And you see the coach is even sitting in a different position. Of course, maybe karate officiating should have been using about 6 judges. But where would the coaches sit? So they too have to do some job. So because he's a certified coach, he's been trained, he understands it, and he's been in the game for a long time.
And he got that point.
So he got that point. Like I said in one of the lectures last time, I said that he's a man that wins 3 out of every 4 video review cards. I said that in the national squad forum to the Nigerian team. Yeah.
So now the beautiful thing now is that if you don't have the coach there, that score would have gone. And then she wouldn't have gotten a gold medal.
Yes.
So those are the kind of things the federation should be aware of.
Yes.
Because the federation has to know this. If not, we'll keep on going for events and we're not winning and people wonder why. When you don't go with them,
Yeah, I think the federation can only work also within the limits of what they've got, maybe finance and all that.
Yeah, but you can source for more funding if you realize you need more funding.
Yes.
So if they think all they have to do is just send 2 or 3 athletes, they only source funding for 2 or 3 athletes.
Yes.
But by the time you realize you need
I
coaches,
think the problem is not even the sourcing. I think they are not starting the sourcing on time. Like we're on the calendar now, have some events that are coming in April or so in some other countries like Spain or so, and all that. And by now, we've not heard that there is a team constituted to do that. I don't think something like that is happening. Like we have a marketing team. The KFN just will have a marketing team. And if they don't do that, we can come to this.
Talking about coaches now, the strata-based tournament is coming up now.
Yeah.
Are we going to have a coaching course?
No, that event is a top-notch. It's a national event and it's sanctioned by KFN, Karate Federation of Nigeria. And any event sanctioned by Karate Federation of Nigeria as a national event must, based on the organizing rules, must have
a coaching course,
referee and coaching course.
Okay, so how much is the coaching course going to cost? Let's just say it now. So I think
the referee cost used to be about 20,000 naira only.
What about the coaching course?
The same thing. They pay the same amount.
Okay, because we need more coaches. We need more coaches.
You see the irony of it, like we're talking about the importance of referees. The referees run the course for the coaches. They run the course for the referees and also run the course for the coaches. Because it's the same rules they are going to use. The only difference is that maybe the pass mark for coaches might be a little bit relaxed because they don't need to be as tough as grinded. They have to face their own game too because there's a lot involved in technical of training an athlete to get them to that point. So in this strata-based event, I know there's going to be a course, a referee course.
A referee course.
Yes.
Okay, there's going to be a referee course because having more referees. Because in fact, it's another thing I noticed again. If you look at the ratio of referees between sub-Saharan Africa and North Africa, it's almost like 7-3. There are more coaches than that. It's more than that.
9 to 1.
So no, the funny thing about that now is I remember after the under 16 bout, Ambrose and was it the Egyptian?
Yeah, an Egyptian.
Ambrose and the Egyptian. I remember one of the coaches from West Africa actually met our technical director and told him that the referees were unfair to you on that fight. Now, I don't know if he was right about that or wrong. We'll look at the fight. I mean, you're a world-class referee, so you'll be able to identify if it's there. Yeah. But the point now is, if we have more referees,
will it protect that?
We'll be able to, I mean, if that kind of thing comes in, we'll be able to know how to balance things. But let's look at that fight and see if actually there was any point where the referees were unfair to us.
What happened in that point you were talking about in this video is that Ambrose made a kick, but the guy was transiting. He was in movement when that kick landed.
So it wasn't a valid score.
So the impact could not have been said to be good enough. You know, even though you are not hitting that target, you need to be as vigorous as you can be, even if you are 10 inches from target or so for this cadet.
So how do we learn from that? How do we improve on that?
Yeah, it's for the athlete to keep on competing and keep on being in national camp under the same scenario where he's been before coming for this event. Because this is first time of being at the African scene, at the international scene. I think this is the first time, and he's not going to be used to it. And the coaches too have to just make a try because Nigeria is depleted. We have the championship coming for African Olympics, right? Junior Olympics happening in Senegal, Dakar. That should be 2023 now also. And now, if Nigeria does not start exposing athletes now, who are we going to present?
Then again, it boils down to financing.
The Youth Olympics. So
it boils down
to they have a credit in this, getting 2 of them, 1 cadet and 1 junior at least.
But then again, it comes down to financing because I know most of the time now, Nigeria, the federation now will complain that, why are we going to send athletes just to go and test if they're not going to win it?
No. Athletes do not really have to win all the time. They need to learn. Sometimes back, when we're talking about competing, they say, Nigeria went to events, they didn't win gold, they didn't win medals. I said, no, the first thing first is ranking. Get into the ranking. Lucky enough, we got into good ranking in the world, where we have Ronke Ogunsanwo coming to number 72 in the world, Rita 60-something, Rostum 70-something. Then we are now at the elite class.
What Rita's ranking now after this Egypt Cairo
Rita
tournament.
is 27 in the world currently.
Oh, that's beautiful. And then Joseph Omu.
Yeah, that's the score you're talking about.
Yeah, beautiful. Go back there. Uh-huh.
That's the score. Watch it now. See, the guy was actually running and moving. The guy has made almost all the score, 7-0 as at that point or something like that. Look at the score.
Okay.
So the guy was on transit.
Okay.
So it's very
Okay.
opinion. Yeah, some people could say it's a score, but you can see that the 4 judges that were here did not see it as a score. So I wonder why that referee, what he saw.
Or maybe,
I'm not physically there. Maybe if I see from a different angle, I could agree with him because. But I think the coach Shihan Segun did not.
I think this was against Tunisia.
This is Tunisia.
This Tunisia. This against Tunisia. Okay.
So the guy took another offense again to get hands.
Let's talk about the ranking system because a lot of Nigerians still don't appreciate the ranking system. And I know even for this our Tunisian trip, this Egyptian trip, a lot of people say that we didn't go with the best because they weren't conversant with the ranking system. They failed to realize that by ranking, these were the best people for the trip.
No, Nigeria, the athletes that were chosen were top ranking in the country. For example, that Christabel, I think she won in youth games and got gold. Ambrose Jegede got the gold. We've not done any national event for us to create a ranking system for them. But you know, when you do a last event, just immediate past event, of course, you use that to choose the best athlete you have for the junior and the cadet. Christabel Daniel is junior. Ambrose Jegede is cadet. But for the minus 75 kg, which is Felix Abode, he is number 1 in the country by far, by about 800 points on the ranking portal. We have a.
You said that like a very proud father.
So yeah, but he's been competing. We're trying to ensure that he gets more into the event. Then Omo is number 1 in minus 84 kg. So if we're not going to be able to have the plus 84 and he moves up, so these are the best. Rita is undoubtedly the best also in the country. So who else are you going to pick? Let me explain something about ranking. It seems to be as if many people who are in karate and not deeply involved does not know the difference between seeding and ranking. Ranking defines the most valuable athlete, most valuable player in a particular category. Meaning that competitions are rolled out like shorter base, which means everybody is open to attend. If you don't attend, you have not been able to come to show what you have, so you did not make the effort. If somebody comes there to fight, he will earn some points. Ranking system is so designed with formula and calculation that at each point where you are, you earn a point. If you win a fight, you earn a point. If you don't win a fight, you also have a point that is due to you. So if you win the event, you have a placement. Now all these are accumulated for one championship, another championship, they will be adding them up. They'll be adding them. Some points will decay. If you have not attended an event for maybe like a year, on the anniversary date of when you made the first one, your point will drop by a particular percentage. Some of your point drops to half. Now, but again, it can drop by 50% and later again it will degrade again. Now, if you have the most valuable athlete in a particular position defined by the ranking, and the poster is there, it's been there in PDF, sent to the coach association, sent to all states, is on the website at kfn.com.ng. So people can now know this pulse the athlete is motivated to go and fight for the point. For example, how can somebody say that the 4 teams that are selected for Champions League from Premiership, that if one tops the Premiership table, that is not qualified? They are the most valuable team for that particular season. So once an athlete has competed with others, he beat them and won them.
Because that's the season that matters.
So then seeding itself is now that when in the last event that was just done, so there will be 4 winners. There will be gold, silver, bronze, and the bronze, meaning 4. Now, if you have these 4, it will be unfair to have 2 pools, like Nigeria is playing in the pool of Group D when they are doing this Nations Cup. When they get to the group, a particular point, they become 2 pools, right? Group A and B will compete, and then C and D, or maybe A and C and B and D. Now they come up with 2. Now in karate, we will now have 2 arms of the pool. We will make sure that the person that had the bronze, the gold, and the silver does not come to the same pool. Because meaning that you are putting the champions on one side, then the other side, there's no way to test them against somebody. So this is a seeding system we did not create. So seeding has to do with the people that are winners in the penultimate event. This is what was used in time past to make selection instead of a ranking system. So KFN Technical Committee, approved by the KFN board, give them credit to this, have to develop a ranking system. Now, the same ranking system they are using is exactly the same thing as WKF. It was cloned, word for word, everything the same, apart from types of events and the region and all that we have that is not UFAK or something. Now, that's exactly what we're using. So there's no cheating, there is no reinventing the wheel. We are not trying to reinvent the wheel. If you reinvent the wheel, what will it become? So WKF has done well with that particular ranking. We have copied it, and that's what we're using. So athletes that know their honors, knows that they need to go to event to get the point to be rated as number one. Because once your point goes on.
So let me ask now, Rustum
Francis, yeah.
And Hope Adele.
Yeah.
Why were they not selected for camp, or why weren't they on the trip?
Okay, Rustum is number 672 in the world now because of other events, and he was due to go. I think Rustum has an injury, has something like, it's not a torn ligament, but it has a problem. Not really an hamstring, I think I can't remember exactly, but he has an injury, which till date we are still treating. I spoke with him about a few days ago and I asked him, how is it going? He said, oh, he's getting better. Is it not healed fully? He said, no. So I think that was part of the reasons why Rustum. And again, apart from that, despite Rustum being a very good athlete at that level, I think the resources of the Karate Federation will not have been able to accommodate him, even if we have said we want to take him.
Okay. So what about Hope?
Yeah, Hope Adele is not on WKF. He's on WKF ranking, but does not have a valuable point because he's not been attending UFAK events and has not been attending WKF events. So the only last time he competed was in All African Games, where he came third position. And All African Games is not events scoring. It's just like the Olympics. It's like they don't add it to the points for your ranking in the world. So that's why Hope Adele did not have it. And otherwise, it's a very good, one of the best tacticians we have in karate. And of course, in Africa, it's about the biggest heavyweights.
So I was actually wondering. Anyway, so some of the key points now to note is February 17th, we're having a coaching course.
Yeah.
February 17th, we're having a referee course.
Yeah.
So referees and athletes should come down there, get themselves updated, so we can have more certified coaches and more referees in the federation. It
becomes obligatory if you want to remain as a coach and you want to win. Because some of the bad things we've done that has affected us at international is that when referees here give scores that are not exactly worth it, it affects them. When coaches also are shouting and making noise at the background that, okay, this course should be given to them when it does not merit the criteria, it's also another problem. Yeah. So the referees have tried their best within the purview of what they can do to be able to see that they mitigate that. I think that's another point that we have to be watching for, to see that the referees are also grinding. But again, the big problem is not even the courses, because you can never learn WKF rules in 3 days. For me to become a UFAK graded referee, I studied the rules for 2 years. For me to be a WKF graded referee, I studied these rules for 3 good years, and I was actively doing it. So you need to study it. Coming to the referee course and whatever, more or less is a brief. You cannot even teach half of it.
Okay, but what now prepares you for the tournament? It tells you things to look out for during the tournament.
It's a checkmate system that the referee uses to hold the coaches responsible for wrongdoings. Because number one, if you don't know the rules before coming, what did you use in training your athletes? So meaning that you're training them a different thing, and you not just come and write the exam. So, which is very wrong. So, it's something that we need to have been doing. Use it to train your students. So that is a train your child the way you follow, and when he grow, you will not depart from it.
Right.
So, I think that's the bigger issue there. But I don't think the coaches are grinding, and the states have to also ensure that the referees keep on doing courses within themselves, answering the same questions, and trying to look at areas because the rules are changing. WK have brought a lot of rules, and the rules is tight.
The rules are always changing. The rules are always changing.
Not granted the former one, how do you adapt the new one? Now, if you don't go to the new one, you want to stay in the old one, how do you go for international? I remember in Turkey, Istanbul, 2019, when we went there, the flight that brought the Nigerian team to join myself there came maybe about, they got to the venue 15 minutes before competition. But the boys were able to compete because we tried the new rules.
Which were on that team?
Championship. Okay, we're about 11 Nigerians on that team. There is Oluwaseun Olorunbe, there is Taiwo Fagboro, there is Kenny Fagboro, there's one of the Nigerian great athletes who we know very well, Hezekiah Mokoye in that team. There is Alexander in that team. There is Felix in that team. There is Ocholi Prince in that team. There were about 11 in total in that competition. Yeah, it was a good experience gathering for us, and we met a lot of great athletes.
I mean, our first next sport is the Strata-based tournament. After that, we still look at hitting the intercontinental scene again. I heard there's Birmingham coming up later in the year.
Yeah, that is World Games, and there is a scoring and ranking point for it. But I think if Nigeria may not make it because out of 8 slots, 5 slots had been gotten already, so everybody is going to fight for elimination for the 3
slots. So we might not make it. Where the elimination?
So depending on the chances of how we go, and we have to look at what the criteria are. That's Birmingham in the US.
In UK. In the UK.
No, not UK. It's US.
Oh, it's in the US.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
There is a Birmingham in UK. There's another Birmingham in UK. This one is World Games.
Okay.
So karate features there.
So let's see.
But I think Nigeria is also coming for Commonwealth Games this time. That's what we've had. I believe that if the federation has started preparation now,
we need to start preparation.
That will help us. But the Strata-based championship is a good start for us because if you don't go to the competition, you can't learn a lot.
I hope information has gone out to all the federations, all the state federations.
Yes, I think
state associations.
Yes, state associations and organizations that are going to participate. Circulars have gone
because it's just like it's less than a month away.
The only good thing Nigeria can do if we want to improve is to ensure that we enforce the right rules as we are competing. Doesn't matter whose ox is muzzled. Doesn't matter who is penalized or who didn't win. So long as we keep on doing that.
But that's for the referee commission.
I think again it's good to also mention that Nigerian Karate Association, let me use the word, gave birth to 3 different associations now. And I know you are the chairman of one of them.
Okay, no. We'll have that one on another show. But thanks a lot. We'll definitely have it because you're the secretary of the youth school committee. So we actually have to talk about that because it's something very, very interesting, and it's something I take very serious to heart. And I really want to educate people on the benefit of that, of the new structures. So we'll have you on the show for that again some other time. So we really delve on that.
Thank you very much for being here. I'm happy to actually say a little bit of how it is from my side. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you very much for sharing your knowledge with us. Any parting shots?
Thank you very much. Parting shots?
Do you have any parting shots you want to give to the audience?
Well, I think my advice is that any other person who's not a karateka that is seeing this podcast, they should take karate serious because karate is a sport that is grinding so much in Nigeria. And like I said, sometimes the exposition is going to come like we're going to schools so much. Like I said, about 27,000 secondary schools in the country. If we have 100 students passing through that in a year, automatically that's about 2.7 million. So I think we need to take away the restiveness in youth and also promote the name of the country, and also the athletes should be promoted. So I appeal also to the athletes to take serious, respect their coaches, and also appeal to the Karate Federation of Nigeria to us to keep on doing what they're doing and do better. And the referee is very key, should not be left out. And the coaches, they need to try. Sometimes you give them a knock to say, oh wow, coach is not doing this or that. We have great referees, I must still continue to say that. And they are the ox that muzzle the tread. They need to try. They are the foot soldiers. If they don't produce the athletes, we cannot have them. They need to
We'll
be
get
more
there.
nicer.
We'll get there.
Yeah, thank you.
So thanks for all of you that have stayed all the way to the end of this program.
Thank you very much.
And remember to subscribe to our channel if you haven't done that. Subscribe to the channel, hit that bell so you get more of our programs or more of our podcasts whenever they come out. For all the karatekas out there, this is a great opportunity to learn and see all the areas you can actually benefit from. So thank you very much and see you on our next edition. Hello to all our viewers out there. My name is Sensei Amaki Ramawa, Chief Instructor of Zen Budo Karate. And welcome to our all-new podcast where we talk about everything martial arts, fitness, and we look at the different ways entrepreneurs can actually key into this new business ecosystem that we are setting up. So if you're into karate, hit the subscribe button and press that bell so you get all our programs as our new editions come out to you. Hit it right now.